Hello, and welcome to Yoga with Yo Gabriella. My goal is to enhance the quality of your experiences and your energy so that you can embody your essence, to understand the language of your body, and to realign the posture of your heart so you can fully indulge with the richness of life. So, whether you're new or you're coming back, I'm so blessed to have you part of this tribe to share this experience with you, and I'm truly honored that you're here. So, whenever you're ready, grab your mat and let's get started. Hello, my name is Gabriella, and today we are going to do a juicy flow for the hips, the shoulders, and a gentle activation of the core. This is going to be very subtle. This is great for any level, even beginners. What I would recommend is grabbing a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use like a big t-shirt, you can use a towel, anything to just kind of support your legs or even your arms through the movement. And I would also suggest some blocks as well. Props are going to be great for any supportive poses that it's a little tricky for your body to get into, but also most importantly, we are going to be using them in some poses. So whenever you're ready, grab your props, grab your mat, place them nearby so it's easy to reach, and let's get started. We're going to get started on our backs. Lying down, your knees can be bent or they can be straight out in front of you. We're going to take a moment to get into the body. Maybe you start to notice the sensations in your legs. How do they feel? Do they feel tense or tight, heavy? Or can you relax them down? Maybe all you just need is some awareness to this area. Noticing your belly. Does it feel constricted? Your chest, your shoulders, can you relax them down? Your neck, your jaw, your eyes, your forehead. Just taking a moment to acknowledge this area and space, just allowing them to be whatever they need to be. And notice what just having some mindful awareness does to this place. We're going to take 3 deep cleansing breaths just to connect deeper into our body, to kind of break the state from the transition from work or anything that you were doing earlier to now in this moment. So go ahead, take a deep breath in from the nose. A gentle hold at the top. And sign it out the mouth. Taking another deep breath in from the nose. A hold at the top. And letting it go. Taking one more deep breath in, and notice your shoulders. See if you can relax your shoulders with this breath. Holding it at the top. Maybe you hold it a little bit longer, allowing the oxygen to really enter your cells. And go ahead, release. We're going to go ahead and place your hands on your belly. And I'm going to introduce this breath. It's called the FAB breath, the forced abdominal breath. And what it is you're going to take a breath in for the nose, and on the exhale, you're going to make a shh noise. And what this does is it kind of helps activate the core, the intrinsic muscles of the core, kind of gathering the ribs and I want to do this so that we focus on this area. When we start to activate it, we know that this is the energy center. This is the area that we are going to generate our movement from. So go ahead, take a deep breath in from the nose. And with the jaw gently closed, you're going to inhale. Exhale. You don't have to force the abs, but just notice the slight effort, the slight contraction. Inhale. Inhale. Letting it go and seeing if you can relax the muscles around the back, around the shoulders. We're going to take 3 more. Last one, inhale. And letting it go. Go ahead, you can normalize your breath. Take a moment, just notice even the slight difference that you feel. Maybe you feel a little bit more relaxed. Maybe you feel a little bit more congruent, stable in the body. And gently you can start to make some movement, rocking the head from side to side. You can start to make some movement in the legs. Gently fluttering the eyes open and maybe stretching your hands up overhead. We're going to go ahead and start to grab our strap. We're going to extend the left leg long and we're going to draw the strap around the right leg. We're kind of putting it at the base of kind of like the callus region of where your toes meet, the balls of the feet. You're going to have a gentle activation of the toes towards the face. You can have a micro bend within the knee and then just gently pull it in towards your face. You should feel a good stretch on the hamstring, maybe the calf, the ankle. The hands can be relatively relaxed. I want you to have a gentle pressing in the left heel. This will help lift the kneecap, activating the quad, which also engages the pelvic floor muscles, the lower abs, and it helps stabilize and balance the hips. We're going to be here for 3 more deep breaths. If you want to activate that fab breath where you inhale and make that shh noise, you can go ahead and do that. And as you breathe on your exhale, see if you can direct that breath towards the back of your legs, knowing where your edge is. If you're shivering or quivering, you've gone too far. So just ease up a little bit so your body tends to feel comfortable. You're going to go ahead and place the strap in your right hand. The left hand is going to open up into a T position. And we're just gently going to guide the leg open towards the right. If you need to place a block underneath your right foot or leg, you can always use that for support. And maybe if you want, you can gently press with your left hand on your left hip, right where you feel that bony protrusion, and just kind of press on it to make sure that it's not lifted off the mat. If it's lifted off the mat and you're starting to rotate over Maybe you've gone too far. Again, activating that fab breath, breathing in from the belly. And gently with control, you're first going to start to press your right heel, starting to activate through that leg, feeling the energetic connection all the way into your hip. Bringing that hip in towards the socket, and then it's kind of like you're pressing a button to lift that right leg up towards the center. We're going to switch hands. So placing the strap in the left hand, the right hand can come out in line with the shoulder like a T, and gently guiding that right leg over across the body. Again, your foot does not have to reach the floor. If you want to place a block underneath, you can as well. Just making sure that we're relaxing our shoulders, relaxing the jaw, and that our leg truly feels supported. Notice where your breath feels constricted. Go ahead, start to activate, reach it through that right heel. You'll activate the quad muscle, and it's kind of like you're pressing a button on the outside of kind of where the right ankle is. Bringing the hip towards in the socket, lifting that leg back up towards center. Gently, you can release the strap and bring your right leg all the way down to meet your left. Taking a moment if you need to do any ankle circles, allowing the blood flow to come back towards the toes. Noticing the openness that you feel on the right side versus the left. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead, place the strap along the balls of the left foot and lengthening up through that leg and extending the right leg down on the ground. Remembering to gently press through that right heel, lifting the quad, lifting the knee, balancing the hips. You can have a micro bend within that left leg and the toes flex towards your feet. It's kind of like you're trying to press your heel towards the ceiling. Breathe into this area, especially if you're sitting all day, your hamstrings tend to shorten and become tight. And just because they're tight doesn't mean that they're strong. Maybe you feel this in the lower back. Maybe you feel this in the joint. Relax the shoulders. Taking a good deep breath in from the nose. Again, remember that we're moving from the core center. We're going to place the strap in the left hand. The right hand opens up in line with our right shoulder, like a T, and gently with control, we're going to open up that left hip. Bring the left foot towards the left side. If you need to press down on that right hip as well. Just allowing the inner groin to soften. Making sure that that left foot feels supported. If you need to root down through that right heel, again, you can. Might help activate some intrinsic muscles, stability muscles for more support. And gently, again, bringing that left hip femur, the femur of the bone, the thigh, bringing it in towards the socket like you're sucking it in, reaching through the heel and pressing that leg back up towards center. Switching the hands. Remember to move from that core center. So on your exhale, you gently activate the core, and then you bring the left leg all the way across the body towards the right. We go for quality versus quantity. So it's not about the depth that you go for, it's the posture, the alignment of the body. And whenever there's tension, that means that we're constricting somewhere and the body's compensating. And when we're compensating, we actually exert more energy. So it's kind of like slow and steady wins the race. Because the safer that your body feels, the quicker it will get into alignment. Go ahead, take one more deep breath. And then activating that left leg, reaching through that heel. On your exhale, engage the core and press that left leg all the way back up towards center. You might notice some activation of the right leg to support you. And go ahead, release the strap and extend that left leg to meet the right. You can place your strap aside from you. Take a moment just to feel the juiciness in the hips, the openness, maybe even the hamstrings, the blood flow back to the feet. And then gently, we're going to go ahead, bend the knees. We're going to roll over. We're going to come up to a cross-legged seated position. We will start to get into some spinal movement. So on our inhale, we're going to lift our hands up towards the sky. Again, feeling that contraction of the core. Opening our chest over towards the left. Right hand comes on the left knee. The left hand will come behind us. You might be on the top of your left fingertips if you want to place a block behind you. Just making sure we're not rounding down through the back and collapsing the chest, but we're nice and open. The shoulders are relaxed. The jaw is unhinged. Go ahead, take a deep breath. Keeping our right hand over our left knee. On our inhale, we're going to lift and extend the left hand up, crossing it over across the body towards the right knee. Here, we're going to start to round the back, tuck the chin, tuck the pelvis, and lean back. As we lean back, we utilize the weight of our knees to draw our hands back or to draw our hands apart. So you might feel a stretch in the shoulder blades, the back of the neck, the back in general. And then slowly starting to lean yourself forward, releasing your hands. We're going to reverse the cross of the legs. And we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. On your inhale, lifting your hands up overhead, feeling the diaphragm activated. Exhale from the navel, opening the chest towards the right. Left hand, right knee. The right hand comes behind you. You might hear some snap, crackle, pops. Making sure that neither knees are lifted up, but they're down and relaxed. If you need to sit on a block, you can always sit on a block. If you need to sit on your knees in a kneeling position, you can always do that as well. Take one more deep breath. Keeping your left hand over your right knee. Your right hand comes up and over towards the left, rounding the back. And just noticing the twist that we were just in with our hips squared. We'll probably do a few more twists in the spine as we go along. And this is just the start. Inhale, you can slowly come back up towards center. We're going to do a little bit more shoulder work, so you can go ahead and grab your strap. And we're just going to do some nerve flosses within the shoulder joint. So there's going to be a little bit of tension there. You don't need to kind of really pull it apart, but just a gentle activation there. The core is going to be stable. So again, if you want to use a block, if you want to come to a kneeling position, you can as well, because we want to make sure that the ribs aren't flaring out necessarily. On your inhale, we're going to relax and roll the shoulders down and back. And then inhale the hands up overhead. Taking a deep breath in. And on your exhale, start to see if you can drop it down back as far much as you can to feel the stretch. You can have a bend in the elbow, but you should feel a good spot, a good stretch within the chest, within the shoulders. And I'm going to let you play around here for a little bit. If you want to swing your arms back up overhead, and you can do some nerve flosses here, bringing the strap forward and behind you. If you feel a good juicy spot, kind of like lifting your hands up overhead and just drawing it gently back, you can hold there and breathe into the tension or whatever you're feeling. If you want to add a little bit of movement as well, where you're rounding the back, making big circles, I just encourage you to explore your body and see if you can invite softness into this area. Moving from that core, so if you want to activate that fab breath, you can. But just know that we're not moving from the hips if you're rotating, and we're not arching the back and rounding with the pelvis. It's just isolated to the top part of the body. You can go ahead, do one more wherever you're at. Taking in that really big deep breath in. Ooh, had a good pop there. You can go ahead, release the straps, and we'll come in more into a child's pose. So our toes are going to come together. Our knees can either be together or they can be open up nice and wide. Now, before we get into a full child's pose, what I want you to do is I want you to bring your hands behind your back. We're going to interlace the hands so that they're kind of holding each other, rolling the shoulders down and back. And from here, we're going to bring our chest down, coming into that child's pose. Now, you have an option here to allow your hands to rest down onto your hips, or you can go ahead, squeeze the shoulder blades together and lift your hands off your back, bringing them up towards the ceiling. You'll feel a good stretch on the chest and the shoulders, whatever feels comfortable for you. And if you just want to relax in this pose, that's always an option as well. And gently, if your arms were up, you can bring them back down, releasing the hands, bringing them down towards the mat, either behind you or in front of you, and just taking a moment to pause. Just enjoying what it feels like to pause for a moment, especially when we're rushed in a day-to-day basis to do work. How nice it is just to come and rest. Slowly you can roll your way up. Coming into a tabletop position, we're going to tuck the toes. The toes can be hip width apart. We're going to come into our first downwards facing dog. So on your exhale, you start to feel that core contract. Press into your heels and straighten your legs up. Rooting down through the heels, they don't have to touch, but just the energetic pull. You're pressing the mat away from you so your shoulders are activated, relieving any pressure on the joint. Feeling the core gently engaged here. Here we're just opening up the back of the body. Slowly you can start to walk your hands to meet your feet, coming into a forward fold. Allowing the head to rest heavy. And what we're going to do is we're going to try something new. We're going to have a gentle bend in the knees. We're going to draw our hips over towards the right, and then we're going to straighten our legs. So now it's kind of like a hip pop, and your hands might be over towards the left foot. We're going to go ahead, bend into the knees, center your hips, and then draw them over towards the left. Hands come over towards the right, and then straighten your legs. We're going to do that a few more times. You can go at your own pace. Your hands are super relaxed, and they just go with you as you draw in and drop it into your knees and rocking your hips from side to side. If you want to cross and hold opposite elbows, you can as well. But just feeling this good stretch in the back of the legs, allowing the blood flow to come towards your head, allowing the upper body to relax itself as we tend to carry a lot of pressure. We'll do this 2 more times. Notice some activation of the quads as well. We're not forcing the knees back. Gently come to a neutral position. We're going to open up the feet to be about hip distance apart. Our hands are going to come up on our shins, and we're going to halfway lift. So our chest is parallel to the mat. Our head presses forward. Shoulders are down and back, and our hips press behind us. Exhale to a forward fold. And from here, if you need a block, if your hands don't reach, you can place them in front of you as well. We're going to just do a little bit more of nerve flosses between the knee and also activations of the glutes and the quads. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend into our knees. We're not coming into a chair pose, but we're just going to come down into a little squat and then straighten out the legs. We're just going to do a few pulses here, remembering to engage the core. So this alleviates any extra pressure that we put on our joints. And it's kind of like your knees are going to tap your elbows. And it's just the energetic principle behind it. It doesn't have to touch. It doesn't have to be accurate. But just notice the stability within your ankles. Can you activate those arches as you start to bend your knees? You'll notice activation of the pelvic floor muscles. So the whole body works as a unit. And when we start to isolate or start to bring awareness to these other supportive muscles, it kind of helps us in our performance. We'll do 2 more, seeing if you can allow your heels to remain on the ground. Notice that they start to tend to lift off the mat. That's when maybe you've gone a little bit too far. And then slowly, you can straighten your legs and start to walk your hands back in front of you to come into a downwards facing dog. Maybe you notice that you can reach your heels down a little bit more just by activating those quads, getting some ankle mobility. Lifting the diaphragm up towards the rib cage, sucking the belly button gently in, We're going to come into a high plank, so go ahead and roll into the tops, the balls of the feet, feeling the momentum. Roll yourself forward. A gentle squeeze in the glutes, reaching through your heels and your head pulls in opposite directions, pressing the mat away from you, making sure that the hips are not high up, but they're nice and down. Activating that shh breath. We're not going to be here for too much longer. We'll be here for about 2 deep breaths. We're going to take a nice chaturanga, so you can bring your knees down towards the mat. Take a little mini push-up as you bring your chest, your chin down, and then inhale, coming up to an upward facing dog. Pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, lifting the knees off, taking a breath in, and exhale, lifting the hips up, coming into that downwards facing dog. We're going to press into the left knee, or the left heel. We're going to bring the right foot on the outside of that right hand. The left knee is going to come down towards the ground. And we're going to press into that left hand. If you need to place a block underneath your left hand, you can as well. Stabilizing the core and the hips, we're going to tuck the left toes, press into the left hand, and the right hand comes up. The legs gently have a squeeze towards the center midline. This helps activate the core, stabilize their balance. The ribs open up towards the right side. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Slowly bring that right hand back on the inside of that right leg. We're going to come into a lizard pose. So if you want to walk your right foot out a little bit more towards the edge of the mat, if you want to press the right knee away from you so you come onto the lateral border of the right foot, the sole of the left foot, or the sole of the right foot is open towards the left. If you want to untuck your left toes, you can as well. And if you want to rock from side to side very, very gently, you can do that as well. If this feels safe and comfortable, you can always come down onto your forearms. If you need a block for support as well, you can always use that. We're gently going to come back to the sole of that right foot. We're going to start to, if you have your blocks nearby, I would recommend grabbing your blocks. We're going to start to straighten that right leg back behind us. So we're straightening that right leg, the hips come behind, kind of stacked over the left knee. Now we're going to come into a steel bolt, and we're going to start to walk our hands over towards the right. So both of our hands are reaching towards the right. We're gently pressing on both of the feet, so the top of the left foot. And you should feel a good stretch on that inner right leg. Taking a nice deep breath in and exhaling out. Slowly you can start to walk your hands back towards center, bending back into that right knee. And we're going to take a good quad stretch, so you can use these blocks for support here. We're going to bend the left knee so the heel is towards the glute. You can reach back with your right or your left hand, whatever feels comfortable for you. And we're going to lean onto the top part of that left knee. So we're not necessarily on the knee itself, but we're right above it. So it's kind of more like we're on the part of our thigh that meets the knee. Making sure that we have slight activation in that right leg. Take one more deep breath in. If you need a strap here as well, you can always use the strap when we come into these quad stretches. And then exhale, slowly release that left leg back down. You can remove the blocks, tucking the left toes, lifting the left knee off the mat, and sending the right leg back, coming into a downwards facing dog. Taking a good deep breath in, notice the difference that you feel from one leg to another. Whenever you're ready, the left leg comes on the outside of that left hand, coming down onto that right knee, untucking the toes. If you want to place a block underneath your right hand, you can do that as well. Coming into our twist, press into the right hand, inhale the left hand up towards the ceiling. Making sure that the left knee is not splaying out towards the side, but you're keeping that in towards the midline. And exhale, slowly release that left hand back on the inside of that left leg. Coming into our lizard pose, roll onto the edge of that left foot. The left knee opens up, and you can either sway from side to side here, or you can come down onto your forearms. Remembering you can always utilize that the fab breath, forced abdominal breath, and this will help you get into those joints a little bit, or the muscles a little bit better, to alleviate the pressure off of the joints. Take one more deep breath in and exhaling out. You can gently start to come back onto the border of that left, or the sole of the left foot, grabbing your blocks, straightening that left leg, and starting to walk your hands over towards the left side of the body. Remembering your alignment, that we're always reaching up from the crown of the head. You're kind of squeezing your thighs towards each other, kind of like scissors. Breathing into the belly. And gently starting to walk your blocks or your hands back towards the center. Bending back into that right knee. If you want to stay on your blocks up here, you can. Coming into that quad stretch, you can go ahead and bend that right knee. Bending the heel towards the glute and reaching back with either hand that feels comfortable for you in your twist. Coming into that quad stretch. Using a strap if you need to as well. This will just help your body feel safer to get in deeper. Remember, it's not about what the pose looks like, it's about what it feels like. We'll be here for another deep breath in. And slowly you can start to release that right leg back down. Tucking the right toes, lifting the right heel off the mat, sending the left leg back, coming into a downwards facing dog. You can go ahead, drop your knees down towards the mat. We're going to come into one more pose. This is going to be a really great hip flexor opener. We're going to come onto our bellies. And we're going to place the block underneath our left hip. Now, it doesn't really matter where exactly you put it, as long as it's feeling comfortable within the bony part of your muscle. And you should feel a good elongation within the hip flexor already, maybe even in the core a little bit. And we're going to go ahead, bend the right knee to be in alignment with our left, or with our hip. So we're coming into a half frog pose. The right toes are going to point away from us. And then if you want to come down all the way onto your hands, resting your head, and just play around with the block, but you should place it back if you need to adjust the size of it. Maybe help alleviate any tension on the lower back area. Noticing if there's any clenching in the glutes, if there's tension in the shoulders, see if you can relax. Maybe you feel your lower belly press into the block. Maybe you feel a gentle stretch on your lower abdominal wall. Now we want to be really, really gentle and delicate to come out of this pose. So you're going to start to press into your hands first. Engage the core and the glutes to lift the hips off the, just to alleviate any pressure on or weight on the block. And you can extend your right leg back. We're going to switch the block over towards the right hip. Again, making any adjustment that you need for the comfortability of the block and the bone protrusion area. And then gently you can start to bring that left knee in alignment with your left hip. The toes face away from you. Maybe one hip feels better than the other. Remembering to relax the glutes, relax the jaw. We'll go ahead, take 2 more deep breaths here. And gently pressing back into your hands, engaging the core and being gentle with extending that left leg back. You can go ahead, remove the block. We're going to roll over onto our backs. If your body needs to make any other pose or movement to feel complete, go ahead. Now you can gently bring your knees in towards your chest, wrapping your hands, your arms around your legs. And maybe you have a gentle sway from side to side. And then whenever you're ready, you can gently start to elongate your legs all the way out in front of you. Your hands can be on your belly, they can be by your side, rolling the shoulders down and back, adjusting anything to feel comfortable in this pose. Relax the jaw. Take a deep breath in and exhaling out. Take a moment and give yourself permission to just lean into this pause. Lean into this moment of steadiness, of rest, of silence. You deserve it. Go ahead, take another deep breath in from the nose and sign it out. Gently, you can start to make some movement into the body. Maybe take a deep stretch. And whenever you're ready, as gentle as your body will allow, you can gently roll over onto either side to support you in a way to bring you up into a cross-legged seated position. Taking a moment to lift up from the head, relax the shoulders down. Maybe you close your eyes. And just bring awareness to this new presence that you feel. More space being opened in the body. How it feels to pause and rest. You can gently bring your hands together in prayer pose in front of your heart, taking a moment to honor yourself for showing up. Honor your body for the movements. Most importantly, thanking God for today. May you stand in your light and cherish it. Malama Pono. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I'll see you again soon. I'm truly so grateful to have shared this experience with you. If you are looking to continue feeling expansive, experiencing salvation with a rich quality of life, then please support by subscribing, engaging, and liking this video. Until we meet again, Malama Pono.